Hello. Can you hear the birds? Can you tell they're singing in German? I am standing at my favorite little bench. Can you see the bench? It's right down there. In my favorite little lookout spot above the village of Riedlingen, Germany, where I lived for 20 years. And I used to come up here in the evenings and sit on that bench and look out over the valley and think of how fortunate I was to live in this part of the world. And I am back. I'm only here for 3 days, and I drive off to somewhere near Hanover, Germany, about 6 hours north of here, to participate in a conference up there that I'm so looking forward to. I get to be the person who talks about MKs for a week. But before that, I wanted to come back here for a couple of days to get over jet lag, and for another reason too. And I thought I should give you this brief explanation for those of you who didn't realize I was coming and might wonder why I'm actually in this part of the world. And to explain that, I need to go back to October, which was my last visit here. And during that week that I was here, I was talking with BFA about potentially helping out with their senior preparation for college. And I had this gut feeling the whole time that I was here, for reasons I did not understand, that this might be my last trip to Germany, that I might not get to come back to this part of the world. It was an unsettling thing, and I didn't understand it until a little bit later. I got back to the States and had a bunch of medical tests run, and I am a cancer survivor, and something was found that indicated that I was at risk for a cancer recurrence, breast cancer recurrence, and it was a tough decision to make, but as many of you or all of you know, I decided in December that it was time for me to have a preventative surgery called a bilateral mastectomy. So I went through that. And I remember waking up after surgery and the doctor telling me we actually found active cancer in there. We weren't aware that it was there, but there are at least 2 forms of tumors that were hiding away in there. And you are now on another journey with this thing called breast cancer. And one of my first thoughts was, so this is why when I was in Kandern last, when I was in Riedlingen last, this is why I had the sense that I might not ever get back there. And to be honest with you, it was a disquieting thing, because I thought that meant that the odds were stacked against me, that I wasn't going to survive this recurrence of cancer. So I went through that surgery, I went through the next surgery, I went through the long recovery periods, weeks when I didn't feel like my stamina was ever going to come back to what it used to be. And I kept thinking, will I ever get back to my other home, to this universe that shaped me in so many ways? This place is life-giving to me, not just the trees and the birds and the view of the valley, but the life-changing impact of the school that is nestled in these foothills of the Black Forest is very significant to me. So after right around the time of my last surgery, which was about a month ago, I was plowing through old emails that hadn't gone answered since last October when I came back from Germany, and this medical journey began with a gallbladder removal and followed on with everything else. And a lady called Marcy had written to me from Send International, and she was planning a conference for the Eurasian missionaries to gather in northern Germany for a week, and she had invited me to this conference way back then. So I wrote to her, and I apologize if the wind is messing with the sound, but it is what it is. I wrote to her and I explained what had gone on, and I said, I'm sorry, but please remember me in the future if you have another conference that I can participate in for the sake of MKs. And she wrote back in less than 24 hours and said, well, actually, if you're still interested and you're up for it. And I was pretty fresh off of surgery in those days when she wrote back, and I wasn't sure I should commit or not. So I said, well, can we wait off a week? Can we wait a week and we'll see how much better I feel by then, and then maybe I can project how well I'll feel by now. So we did, and I felt a little better at the end of that week, and the pain was diminishing and my stamina was coming back, and I said, okay, I'm on board. Let's make this happen. So I bought my ticket. And because of all those thoughts that I'd had back in October when I was here last, I thought, you know what, I need to go back to BFA. I need to prove to myself that I am still alive, I'm still breathing, I am still kicking, and that was not my last trip to this beautiful place that I call home. So here I am. I arrived yesterday without my suitcase, because that's just the way it goes. And I have been wandering around this area today and into France with my friends, Josh and Elisa, and remembering how connected I am to these places and these people and these cultures. And I am so grateful that I am alive. I am so grateful that that cancer didn't kill me. I am so grateful that it was caught early. And if you have been praying for me, if you have been praying me through all of the ups and downs of the journey of the last few months, thank you, because I know that God was answering your prayers as well as mine when he said, you know what, I think you're going back to Germany. So here I am. On Thursday I leave for the 6-hour drive north, and then I will spend that week doing a couple workshops on TCKs and MKs, third culture kids and missionaries kids. And then my time is broken up into half-hour segments, and everybody can sign up for 1 or 2 or 3 segments, and I can consult with people individually, with families, with their children. I'll be having a gathering with the single girls in the mission as well to talk about that interesting little tidbit of being single missionaries abroad, and I think maybe with some of their MKs as well. So I'm off. I am back. And really the only feeling I have right now is gratitude, because, oh, I didn't expect to get emotional, but because I really did think that that was my last time here. And by golly, I'm back. And every day I count as a gift, and every breath I count as a gift. And I think something like what I've gone through for the last few months leaves you convinced that you cannot waste the time you're given. So, back in the saddle again. I flew 8 hours and there were no side effects, and some side effects like lymphedema can happen after the surgeries I've had, and there was none of that, not even a hint of it. So thank you for praying. Thank you for getting me back here. And I'd appreciate you continuing to pray as I head off to this conference on Thursday. And I'll be there for nearly a week before flying back to the States. Thank you, and goodbye from beautiful Riedlingen.